Okay, let's start for today's session. Hi, all of you. Thank you again for coming. Myself, I'm Dr. Johnson. Today is our third module. So before getting into third module, just let's look at the first two modules, what we did. So this is, of course, Skype Guide Plan software session. So in first module, we understood a basic implant planning for simple single case. It was just an overview of how do we do. And in second module, we had about STL files merging and editing the data. And if you have missed the first session, then this is the barcode for YouTube link for first session, first module, if you would like to scan it. And then this is the second module we have. This third module is again about implant planning, but this is more about detailed implant planning. The first module was just an overview so that you can start practicing it. This is in detail, so we'll be looking at all the options of the implant planning, abutment selection, and abutment rotation according to the prosthesis, which includes sleeve rotation and other inbuilt tools and tools to make things more easier to understand planning, and all the protocols for how do we go for next processing uh, within the software or outside this software. So before getting into the software, I would like to just remind you from where to download the software. This is the link, bridengroup.com's Skype G plan. This is the link where you can go to this website and you can go down here, look at your system configuration, and then you can download either Windows or Mac, whichever is your preference. So once you download, register it, and then you can start using this version. So coming to our software, as we have already described how does it look and what is it in both the modules. So we'll get into the software, open it. So I'm opening a case where since I've already described how the files are imported and they are matched and how to edit the DICOM, I won't get into that details. The next, so these three things have been explained in the previous modules. So I will directly go into the fourth option called CPR settings. So here we have CPR, curved planar, and we have to select which job we are doing. For this case, we are doing mandible, so we select mandible. And there are two ways of doing it. One is assisted, that is AI automatic, or by points. For this case, I'll just start showing with assist by points. So how you do is you can manage this with occlusal plane. How is it according to the occlusal plane? And then you can position it where you want to see. And then you can start adding points. Click on the by points and you can start adding the points in between. Yep. So you can go this by points and you can increase or decrease the panoramic view you want. This is decreasing and this is increasing the panoramic view. So once if you are happy with this, then we go next step. And here you have nerve detection, then you can do it automatically. Click on detect nerves. This is AI automatically does, but depends on the speed depends on how good is your system. Yep. So this is done. So we can check how is our nerve path. We can even modify if you wish to, and you can check the nerve path according to this. So if you're happy again, then we go next step. So here you can either do teeth marker or you can do create wax up. Here we will create wax up for our to understand how the process is and how do you plan implants. For this case, I don't have opposing, but you will understand what I'm trying to do. So create wax up. I select 4647 and 37. Okay. So the teeth is marked. So for it is understood, then we go next step. So we have teeth in their position. Now we need to adjust them little. So we go to manual selection, and here I selected manual and I select particular teeth. And here you see activate widget. I click on this, makes my life easy. Then I can turn using this. I can tilt using this red. So these circles are used for turning buccolingual or mesiodistal or occlusal. And if you see these arrows, these long arrows are used for moving the teeth. I can use this X to switch off my CBCT file, and then I can use this to move. And this circle, this dot is for reducing the size. So I reduce the size and I select this also, I reduce the size. And I can hold this and move to its position. Tilt it right, place it down approximately. I position this teeth also. So prosthetically, whatever feels good, we arrange this approximately with the occlusion, and similarly this teeth, 37. Okay, so this is for only for approximation. This is not the final prosthesis. So if you are happy with the kind of occlusion, then we can go to next step. So our wax up is approximately ready. Then next step we go is implant planning. So let's start with 4.6. So here I click on 4.6, and here I can select the different implant. The Brilliant has different implant systems, and each implant system has their own the length and the breadth. We can select whichever we need here, and then we have even abutment selection here, which are abutments you need, and each abutment has its own sizes and angulations. With this is gingival height, so this is the angle, 0 degrees is an angle, and this is the height of the abutment, width of the abutment, sorry, and this is the height of the gingival height. So let me select right now for this particular case, maybe Copper Sky 3.5 and 10 mm implant, followed by I will select a straight abutment. I will select Unifit, and Unifit has a different gingival height. This is 0 and 2, 3, and this is wider uh, uh, abutment. So I'll select the wider abutment for this particular case. And we also have sleeves here, 4 and 6. I will explain that in detail after some time. And here we can see this is the CBCT file. This is our STL file, the brown color, and this is the wax up what we designed here. So we can place our abutment just below this, and we can adjust a little bit, think little angulation here. So basically this, in this one screen, you can see all the implants possible. Okay, so I click apply here, and now from here I can select and move the teeth, or I can rotate it here this way. And we also have different layouts, possible layouts. For this particular case, I'll continue to use this layout, but I will show you different layouts in different situation. So we can select different layouts. And here also we can check. We can, now this is in 3 format. We can make it 1 or 3, however is right for this particular case. We can even tilt here. And if you take your mouse towards this particular implant, you can use these tools to move, or you can use these tools to rotate the implant. So let's imagine this is almost right. And please do not consider clinical consideration here. Here we are teaching, I'm teaching the software, not the clinical consideration. So do not go for exact bone and nerve, everything. Just we are learning the software here. So kindly excuse me if there are some mistakes in clinical considerations. Then we also select the next implant 47, and here you see everything is automatically selected according to the previous selection. That is one point. And if you see at the right down, this is secondary components on and off. If you switch on this, then you can see the scan abutments, secondary abutments, and secondary scan abutments. We will use this in the next case when I will be explaining on full mouth or full arch case. Here in the scan abutment, we can click on the scan abutment and select the scan abutment we want, so that we can transfer the files for exocad or 3Shape also. So we can select here or just deselect. So for now, we select this just to show you. We can position implant here. Now you can here we have different objects, but we are not able to see through implants. So here we have X, which if you click, it switches off and switches on the DICOM file. So we click X. And this one is to switch on and switch off your STL file, anatomy file. You see this? And this is to switch on and switch off your, here you can switch on and switch off your teeth object. Okay. Now we can even make our teeth little transparent if you need. And this one is to switch off the sleeves. So we switch off the sleeves. Now, when we consider prosthetically, these two abutments have to be parallel to each other. So how do we do that? So we select on one of the implant, give a right click. Here you see set axis parallel to 4-6. So you click 4-6 and it'll automatically be parallel. This is for prosthetic consideration if you want to join the crowns and have a parallel path of insertion. So that's how you do this. So if you think this is right, then we will plan another tooth 3-7. Here I will show you how to do angulated uh, abutment. So before going to this, I would like to speak a little bit about sleeves. So we have uh, sleeves of two variations, 4 and 6 mm. And depending on the situation, if your gingiva is thick or thin or how far it is from the bone, depending on that, we select the sleeve. Irrespective of 4 or 6, the distance between the sleeve and the implant height remains the same. For example, now, so this is the sleeve we have here. And I will change this sleeve into some other measurement. 1 second. 6. Okay. So if you see here, this sleeve is 4 mm sleeve and this is 6 mm sleeve. Why did it turn red? Because this sleeve is touching the soft tissue here and it will impinge the soft tissue when you make a guide. So that's why it turned red. So in some situations, you do face like this, then we select 4 mm sleeve or 6 mm sleeve. Both the implants are 8 mm or 10 mm. Yeah, both the implants are here. You see 10 mm implants. And this sleeve is 4 mm. But overall height of both, here you can see overall height, overall length of both the implants is 20. From here to here, it is 20. If you see for the sleeve with 4 mm has 6 mm sleeve distance and sleeve with 6 mm has 4 mm sleeve distance. So the sleeve distance is very important subject. So I will have made a small presentation to explain you how does it matter. So what is sleeve? When you make a surgical guide, you have a sleeve wherever you want to place the implant. With this here, this is the important concept in your surgical guide protocol. Through this, you drill and you follow the drill protocol. You drill the bone with particular depth, width, and angle. And at the end, finally, you place implants using this particular insertion adapter. So this sleeve acts as a depth stop for all your drills and also implant placement. So we have two different variations of sleeve. This is 6 and this is 4. Now, what I was saying was, if you have 4 mm sleeve and this is 6 mm sleeve, we have implants of both 10 mm. So the total length remains 20 mm, but the gap between this is reduced for 6 mm. So this gap remains 4 mm, and this for 4 mm, this remains 6 mm. So when you follow the surgical protocol, the drill protocol, because the insertion adapter or your drill sequence depth stop is here, this height of 10 mm remains constant when you use all the when you follow the surgical protocol of Brident. So you understand this 10 mm remains constant. So this one remains constant, but still it gave you an option of increasing the sleeve distance. So that means now, since it is in some situations, many of the doctors face this situation where gingiva is too thick. In some situations, you need to raise this sleeve. So we have an option of raising the sleeve. So we have to raise the sleeve by always by 2 mm. not 0.5, not 1.5, not 1. We always have to raise by 2 mm. So I increase it by 2 mm. So now I make it 6. So the sleeve distance is 6. So it has increased by 2 mm. So now this one, I hope you are getting this. Now we have increased by 2 mm. I will go back to my presentation. So yeah, so this is the insertion adapter we have, which which stops at the sleeve in surgical guide. With this holds the implant and places the implant in the drilled position. This is another insertion adapter we have, which doesn't have depth stop like this, but it has markings of 10, 12, 14, 16. In some situations, what happens is we need to increase the sleeve distance by 2 mm. Brilliant has implants of length of 8, 10, 12, 14. So drills are also at the height of for drilling sequence for 8, 10, 12, 14. So when you increase the sleeve distance by 2 mm, so normally this was before in previous case this was 6 mm. Now I increased the sleeve distance by 4 mm. So it became the instead of 10 mm, this total distance became 14 mm. Now instead of using this regular insertion adapter, you will be using this insertion adapter and placing it till 14. So when you increase by 14 mm, what you do is you follow the drill sequence of 14 mm implant, but you place at the end 10 mm implant. So your planning is to place 10 mm implant because you increase the sleeve distance by 4 mm. So your drill sequence will be following of 14 mm implant, and you will use this no depth stop adapter, and you will place the implant until you reach this marker. And sleeve has also hexagon here. Even this has hexagon on the sides. If you see from the top, you can see hexagon. So you can match how you are placing implants. About the hexagon talks like connection, I will talk in the next subject. But understand the here you have to understand how is the depth measured. I hope this is a little confusing, but also I try to make it as easy as possible. So if you have understood sleeves, then just checking if you have any questions here. Okay, so if you have understood sleeve, I will correct this. Change it to 4. So if you understood this, then I'll go to 3.7 now. 3.7 will select the same implant, but we will change the abutment to some angulated abutment. Let's take, okay, this is 15 degrees angulated abutment. We have two types of 15 degrees angulated abutment, which I'll explain again. Now I click apply. I'll position it. I'll switch off the sleeve just to show you. So we have angulated abutment like this. Now we need to rotate the angulated abutment towards, now it's distally placed. We'll try to rotate it to mesial little. So here we have rotation. You click on this and you can rotate your abutment however, whatever is right for you, whichever position is right for us. Okay, so here you can rotate the abutment. And if at all, we want the abutment to be straight here. Okay. This is not the right situation, but just to show you the options. I'm trying to explain this. Now, we want this abutment position to be like this, but we want to rotate the implant. Here you see, use the prosthetic axis, so it will use the axis of the prosthesis. So I switch on this prosthetic axis, and now see clearly here. Now if I rotate, prosthesis will be at the same position, but the implant will rotate. It's colliding with. Now I will explain the warnings. Implant axis remains the same. Just sorry, the prosthetic axis remains the same. The implant rotates. So we have two options whether we want to rotate implant or we want to rotate the prosthesis. So if you see, this is your implant axis, and as soon as I switch on the abutment, the axis changes. So depending on the case situation, you select abutment, you select the rotation of the abutment, or if you want to rotate the implant. So you have various options here. So when do you rotate abutment, or how do you select the abutment? If you see, I switch on the sleeve, surgical guide sleeve, and my abutment is placed lingually. And now when I rotate my abutment, even the sleeve rotates. You see, that means your sleeve is guiding you or helping you to position the abutment. So this software is not just about implant placing, but also prosthetically it has to be correct. So we are thinking with the final result in mind, and we are planning our implants, abutments, and prosthesis. So, so as a doctor, if you are giving your technicians or some lab to design for you, the plan for you and design guide for you, I think it is very important not just to see where the implant is positioned, how much is the bone, whether the distance between implants is right, or whether how far is it from the nerve. It is also important to see the position of the abutment, and as I said, the sleeve distance has to be checked by the doctor himself. Imagine if the lab technician increases the distance of the sleeve or decreases the distance of the sleeve, but you follow the protocol according to the length of the implant, it'll be a disaster. We might drill deeper, or we might drill insufficient bone. So it is always important to check implant position, of course, abutment selection and abutment position, and sleeve is very important. So sleeve plays a major role here. Sleeve position, sleeve tilt, and also the sleeve distance. So how does this help when I rotate? How does it help? It helps me to position the uh, abutment right way for my prosthetics. Again, I will switch on my presentation. So if you see, I said this is our insertion adapter, which holds the implant and places it after drill sequence is followed. So now every Brilliant implant has this particular shape to docs like connection here. So this red part is the internal part of our implant. This blue is the outer circle of implant, imagine. And this is the red part of the implant. And this white color here is a design of the connection of the abutment. If you have to follow my mouse clearly. So this uh, concave goes and fits in this particular convex. If you see, so this concave and this convex is equal to the hex shape of this particular sleeve, and also equal to the hex of your insertion adapter. So this hex matches this hex, which matches the internal convex surface of the torque-like connection of the implant. So when you place sleeve right way, your abutment angulation is decided based on your sleeve and your insertion adapter. So for example, uh, we have the sleeve here, surgical guide, of course, surgical guide and sleeve here, and we place an implant using insertion adapter, we place an implant. So this sleeve matches the insertion sleeve hex, and insertion adapter matches these hexes well. Now in this here, if you see my mouse, we place an abutment in this position. So my sleeve and my internal convex surface of my abutment is placed in this position. Now imagine I want to place it, now it's placed buccally, now I want to place it lingually. So I tilt my sleeve in the planning software, what we are using, then it will tilt, we tilt. So this is abutment is also tilted, and then we can place our abutment distally. So sleeve helps you to transfer abutments this way or that way. So we have 6 positions of placing the abutment. Six hexagon has 6 sides, so we have 6 positions of placing a regular angulated abutment. But Bredent has one more selection of abutment, which is called R-type abutment. So this is a standard abutment, what I showed you right now. So the angulation is matching to this corner, and there is R version, which is the flat version matches the angulation. So just to understand, this dot is here, this angulated dot is here, and for the R version, angulated dot is here. So you have standard 6 positions, and if your abutment is not going right, you feel it should be little more lingually placed or little more distally placed, then you can even select R version. You have additional 6 positions. So this is just to explain. So 6 plus 6, you have 12 positions based on your abutment selection. I hope this is clear. So if uh, implant planning is fine, of course it's not fine, but let's imagine it's fine. And then next step is to make a surgical guide. So we go to, and I have to share you one more thing. For example, we are happy with this, but doctor wants different positions, so we can have different project files. Then I go save, and I can rename it as implant position 1. Okay. Now I changed the rotation and changed the position of the implant because doctor asked me. So I can save again and rename it as position 2. So in the software, we have both the files saved. I will show you after this case is done. I will show exit and I will show you how it is saved. Now let's go to surgical guide designing. So this is surgical guide, and we have to check the path of insertion. Right now we have 2 sides of implant on fourth quadrant and third quadrant. So let's start with fourth quadrant. So I just see how my path of insertion is, and I say set this one, set insertion direction. I click on this. Now my path of insertion is like this. Now it has to block the undercuts. So I say generate undercut. So it has blocked the undercuts. And now let's go to the next. Here, if you see 47, 46, 37, all three are ready to be guide to be made. I will do a mistake here out of purpose so that you understand. Now I design the guide for fourth quadrant. So I click where I want the guide margin. I just draw arbitrarily because I'm purposely doing mistake. And I say generate guide. So you see, it has created something here and it has additionally created here. We don't want this to happen, right? So I'll repeat again. I'll delete my guide here. Here, what I have to do is I have to click on 3.7 and deselect it. So now this is deselected, and I can draw it again. I will just, or I can just correct my guide margins. And you have to use these parameters. These parameters are right for me, but depending on the 3D printing or how we are using your milling machine, depending on that, you have to adjust this as you go. You will understand this better. And now I say create guide. So this has created guide for me. And if I find some mistakes are here, I can always go and add material here. Whatever you want to do, you can do in this stage. Add, delete around the sleeve area also, no problem. In this stage you can do, you can add whatever material, you can smooth the surface. So I'm asking you to edit at this stage anything you want, but do not edit once the complete guide is calculated because it will disturb your precision. Now we can even add window here to check the position. Also, we can add the text options. The patient name you can mention here. Here you have smooth tool. You can smooth the surfaces, all the freeform tools you have here. And once this is done, you have to finalize here whatever you want to do. Do not touch after this, then go next. So it has calculated your surgical guide along with the sleeves. Now 3.7 is pending. So now we go again, click on guide design, create new guide, not edit existing, but we have to create new guide. Click on that. Now we go to position third quadrant, set insertion direction, and then we say generate guide, sorry, generate undercut, and then go to next step. Now we have to make guide only for 3.7, not for 4.7, 4.6. So we deselect them and make guide around 3.7. I come close by and then I join these two dots. I can add additional dots in between. And then create guide. So same thing. Now you can add if you need to add. And smooth if you want. Make a round window. And then we go next step. So you have one more guide ready for you. So if you see here in objects, we have two guides. Here you can click on export all and then click OK. On the desktop, you can create a new folder, module 3, MO3, and you can export everything, all the STL files, which will include your guide, two guides. So that's how a simple case is designed. Where can I see the inter-implant angulation? If you click here, if you see this, show implant angles, it'll show you the implant angles here. And then you can set master and then parallel, make them parallel also to each other. So next we will talk about how to do, so I exit this, save as, I will talk about how to make all-on-4 cases, which we call as fast and fix or unicorn cases. So before going to that, as I said, we can save in different positions, different projects. So here, this particular patient has different projects, which I started with, then implant position 1 and implant position 2. Now you can upload this and send it to the doctor as individual positions, or you can upload it or share patient all the projects to your doctor or to the lab anyhow. So this is how you save each. Now let's go to how do we plan for an all-on-4 case. So I open the case, one of the cases. So all these are matched and CPR is done. I didn't want to waste our time here, so I have prepared this until here. Here I will show you a few options. Now there is something called ROI, which will tell you what is the bone density there. So click on that and click 4 points or 3 points, select the area, and then you follow my mouse again. I'm very going with my mouse slowly. Here you see small finish polygon, very small it is written. It's not visible here very clearly. So click on that. It'll give you the details of that particular area. You can even modify. While you modify it, it will calculate again. It'll give you the bone value of that particular region. So you can use this tool, and if it's too disturbing to see after calculating, you can switch off this measurements here. Also, you have different tools for distance calculation. So please use these tools. Now we'll place an implant. For example, for this particular case, we'll start with 2. Okay, so I select 3.5 and 8 mm implant. Here I will select it's Copper Sky 3.5 8 mm implant. Here I select unicorn abutment, and we have unicorn 0 straight abutments, then 25 degrees, 17 degrees, 30 degrees. So depending on what you choose, I will select, and different gingival height. For example, anterior I'll select 17.5, and I can position here the implant. If I feel okay, I'll change to sleep to 4 or 6. 4, 6 is fine. Oh, this is not the way we want it. So we switch out this too. And then we can rotate it to make it straight. And approximately I can keep the mouse in the area of interest, give a right click, and push forward to zoom. This is how you zoom. You do not use the wheel. Once you rotate the wheel, then this will change. The position of the viewing position will change. If you want to zoom, go to the area. Do not click on the left. give a right click and zoom in, then you can see things more clearly. So I keep something like this and I rotate my abutment. So let's see if, let's imagine this implant is placed right, and then we place again 2, 2 in everything is selected automatically, the same thing, then apply. I rotate the abutment little. I position the implant here well. Rotate it right. If you if we need, I can just click on this and say set parallel axis to 2, 2. If things have to go right this way, and still I can move them around. It's touching my soft tissue. That's why this is red. I can change the sleeve to 4 mm and it's still touching. So yeah. Now this is important. Now I want to place implant in somewhere premolar region. So I click here. I can switch on this cross-sectional view here. So now you see this. So I click on this and let's imagine I want to place a 25-degree abutment. So I go click here and I say 25 and say OK. Now I go select my implant. Now since I'm planning to place 25-degree abutment here, I select 25-degree, 2.5 mm gingival height, and then I say apply. Okay, just to show you, I will switch off everything. So your implant is placed exactly 25 degrees. Now we can rotate our abutment. If you don't want to rotate abutment anymore, we want to rotate implant, then you know what to do. We can say this and click on rotating the implant, which we won't do right now, but that's okay. Same way, we click on another area and click on this, make it 25 degrees. Okay. Select on 2, 4, 25 degrees abutment, click OK, and my implant is placed in 25-degree angle. And I rotate my abutment again. From here, if I need, I took as 2, 2 as my reference. So I click on this, set parallel axis to 2, 2, and this one also set parallel axis to 2, 2. Of course, we need to check the bone condition, how it is, and if everything is right. So we can just go click here and cross check if everything is right with the bone. Of course, it is not right, but yeah, this is how we can check. I can pull this in. I can pull this in. Give some space. Nevertheless, all the abutments are straight, are parallel to each other. If you see, all the abutments are parallel to each other so that your prosthesis fits fine. Once this abutments are done, the next thing what we need for a surgical guide, for such kind of surgical guides. We will, in the next coming modules, we'll be learning about how to design a stackable surgical guide. In this module, it is not possible. So we need to have pin placement. So pin planning, we click here. For pin planning, I would go for another layout. This one I would prefer cross section. So based on the space available, I want to place a pin here, and if you can, so somewhere deeper enough, and then I can click here and tilt here. And I can position it like this. So this is how you place your pins for stackable guides. Again, you can place up to 3 depending on the space. See here, and then I can tilt. This is how you place the pins here. So your implant planning along with pin placement is done. So this is how we approximately plan, design, and the options, various options I show you how to do measurements and things. You can use different views, layouts, and you can select what kind of layouts you want to have. So that's it for today for implant planning. Any questions here? We are already over time, so any questions here? Then we can discuss. Otherwise, that's it for today.
There was one question in the chat.
Yeah, I answered it here. Show implant angles, and then it shows you with each other. So I hope you start practicing well with the Sky Pro guide. If you have any questions, you can definitely come again next time in the next module, or you can even mail me. We can discuss about it. Hope it's clear. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll wait for you for 2-3 more minutes and then see if there are no questions. Then we will close the session for today. Thank you.